ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। मन एक बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल। हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल। हरि 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 बोलो, हरि 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 बोलो, भव सिंध पार कर लो, भव सिंध पार कर लो। ब्रह्मानंद रूप हरि पतित पावन मन एक बार हरि बोल। ब्रह्मानंद रूप हरि पतित पावन मन एक बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल। हरि पिता हरि माता, हरि पिता हरि माता, हरि गुरु ज्ञान दाता, हरि गुरु ज्ञान दाता। चित आनंद रूप हरि पतित पावन मन एक बार हरि बोल। चिदानंद रूप हरि पतित पावन मन एक बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल। राम 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 नाम तारकम, राम 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 नाम तारकम, राम 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 नाम तारकम, राम 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 नाम तारकम। राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकम, राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकम, राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकम, राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकम। जानकी मनोहरम सर्वलोकनायकम, जानकी मनोहरम सर्वलोकनायकम, जानकी मनोहरम सर्वलोकनायकम, जानकी मनोहरम सर्वलोकनायकम। शंकरादि सेव्यमान पुण्य नाम कीर्तनम, शंकरादि सेव्यमान पुण्य नाम कीर्तनम, शंकरादि सेव्यमान पुण्य नाम कीर्तनम, शंकरादि सेव्यमान पुण्य नाम कीर्तनम। राम 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 नाम तारकम, तारकं
राम 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 नाम तारकं
राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकं
राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकं
वीरशूरवर्णितं रावणादिनाशकं
वीरशूरवन्दितं रावणादिनाशकं
वीरशूरवर्णितं रावणादिनाशकं
वीरशूरवन्दितं रावणादिनाशकम्
आञ्जनेय जीवनाम राजमर्तरूपकम्
आञ्जनेय जीवनाम राजमन्त्ररूपकम्
आञ्जनेय जीवनाम राजमर्तरूपकम्
आञ्जनेय जीवमान राजमन्त्ररूपकम्
राम 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 नाम तारकम्
राम 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 नाम तारकम्
राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकम्
राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकम्
राम 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 नाम तारकम्
राम 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 नाम तारकम्
राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकम्
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 स्मित स्मित सुंदर मुखारविंद
स्मित स्मित सुंदर मुखारविंद
नाचो नंदलाला
नाचो नंदलाला
मीरा माई को प्यारा
मीरा माई को प्यारा
नंदलाला यदु नंदलाला
नंदलाला यदु नंदलाला
वृंदावन गोविंद लाला
वृंदावन गोविंद लाला
राधा माधव नंद लाला
राधा माधव नंद लाला
रास विलासा नंद लाला
रास विलासानंद लाला
स्मित
Hari Om, everyone. What a nice way. Welcome to day 2 of our Labor Day camp. And what a nice way to start our second day with yoga and such beautiful bhajans by Krishnamurti ji and Uma ji. Thank you so much. If anyone has questions during Yagnya, please email them to yagnya@chinmayatlanta.com, or you can message them in chat to Krishnamurti Subramaniam ji. Hari Om. Look.
Let us all join into invocation. Om. Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवाग्ंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In the very same style of Bhagavan Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, this Upanishad is also telling about meditation. And I told previously that meditation is the highest sadhana possible for a human being. It is the sadhana which is there at in the last leg of our journey. That is the idea. So there are in Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, there are so many countless sadhanas that we can engage in. And I also told that there are only two things. There is mukti and there is sadhana. The scriptures don't speak about anything else. Mukti and sadhana only. So in sadhana, countless sadhanas. And finally, one has to develop the art of meditation. If that art is not developed, then realizing one's own nature will not be possible. Somewhere, somehow along the line, I'm telling this because some people say, I don't like meditation, Swamiji. I cannot meditate. When I sit there, and when you sit there for meditation, that time only the mind goes out. Thought that never come ordinarily, that time they come only. So being able to sit there and draw the mind in, all the senses and mind and everything, draw them in and turn them towards the self. Yato yato nischarati manaschanchalam astiram tatastato niyamyaitat. From wherever they go, to be able to pull those senses and the mind and put it in the self. So this thing has to be developed slowly, and don't worry, people also say, no, Swamiji, time is running out. All sorts of nice excuses are there, the time is running out. No, I used to be able to do that when I was younger. Now mind has become, but you just continue doing and don't worry about time and don't worry about anything. Every little bit counts. Every little effort we put in bringing that mind in, that counts. And listen, you're not going anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere, We think, no, that this time will run out. You'll run out and go where? You'll come back here only. Yeah. So you just, slow and sure wins the race. Have you seen the rabbit and the hare? I mean, the turtle, rabbit and the turtle? Slow and sure wins the race. So just every little bit count. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim. Anything done in this very sacred path will always bring good results. It never goes to waste. Yeah. All right. So slowly you reflect on the words. Let those words also help you to pull that mind inside and place on the self. So this is what we are doing, reflecting on these words, and the words are pointing to the absolute reality. Now, it is true that the absolute reality is outside as well as inside. Because some people ask this question, and in our prayer, it is Purnamada Purnamidam. That is full, and this is full, complete. So some people ask, oh, why don't I take my mind outside? I'll meditate outside, because that also is complete and full. But that is actually, if it can be done by anybody with such a strong mind, then that person is allowed. But that is not ordinary. It's not very easy at all. And you need an extraordinary personality to do that. So meditating inside is the path which is prescribed by scriptures. Because for the vast majority, see, one extraordinary person will be there. Even Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi had to go and sit in that Virupaksha cave there and go inside. Yes, Brahman is present everywhere. That is true. But see, that is very difficult. Anyway, that topic I will tell some other time, why that is so difficult. But here now, it is talking about going inside, withdrawing all the senses and the mind. And the words are pointing to the reality within. All the words which are there, the words are pointing to Brahman, the absolute reality. And when we left it yesterday, now we are seeing number 6, Tathadi Madhyanta Vihinamekam Vibhum Chidanandam Arupam Adbhutam. There we stopped. Okay. That reality is described now from the Puranic standpoint. See, the Puranas also describe reality, but in its own language. In a language which Gurudev calls as mystic symbolism. The Puranas describe same Brahman, but in this mystically symbolic language. And it should not be just dismissed like that. Oh, what is all this? Otherwise, when people get this Vedantic knowledge and all, talking about Brahman, they dismiss this. Oh, this is all stories made up and all. But it is very, if you are teaching children, you have to animate whatever you're doing. Nah? For teaching children, and then we are all children, in the Upanishad, we are called Bala. Balaha, all of us. Because we are ignorant of ourselves. The basic quality of a child is ignorance. The child doesn't know. That is why he asks, why does it rain? Why? It rains, my mother tells, it rains so that the flowers will grow. Then why does it rain on the road? There are no flowers there. Yes, he's ignorant, he doesn't know. So, basic quality of a child is ignorance. And so we are all in that category of Balaha. You see? So when explaining to children, the Puranas actually do a fantastic job. So here now in the next verse there is a Puranic description of that Brahman as Lord Shiva. See, now what is the number 7? It would be Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum Trilochanam Neelakantham Prashantam Dhyatva Munir Gacchati Bhutayonim Samasta Sakshim Tamasa Parastat.
Samasta Sakshim Tamasa Parastat.
Meditate on that Shiva, who is Uma Sahayam. who is there along with Uma. Meditate on that Lord Shiva in the heart, who is there along with Uma, who is Parameshwara. Parama Ishvara means the Supreme Ishvara, who is Prabhu, Lord, who is Trilochanam, three-eyed, Neelakantham, with blue throat. Now see, this will be easier. So we say, like we follow Bhagavad Gita, Atma samstham manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. You place the mind on the Atma and don't think of anything else. What is this Atma and all now? There's nothing concrete. The mind deals in the currency of concrete concepts, isn't it? It is very, very difficult for the mind to alight on some abstract thing. When you say Atma, so here is something very concrete. The Lord Shiva in the heart. So is Neelakantham, blue throat one, blue throated one. You'll have to say, I don't know in this English. Blue throated one. Prashantam, his nature is peace. Now see, it is slowly from the form to the formless. Lord Shiva. It starts like that. What a wonderful technique. Everywhere, the technique of the rishis is like this. It starts with the gross and goes slowly to the subtle. So it starts with this gross depiction of that Brahman as Lord Shiva, right? With form. Gross means, it is perceivable, cognizable, but then it goes, it glides. Prashantam, his nature is Prashantam. Now, Prashantam means there's no form of Prashantam, isn't it? Eternal peace or inexplicable peace. That is this Lord Shiva. Dhyatva, having meditated like this, Munir Gachati Bhutayonim. The Muni, or the meditator here, Muni means meditator. Munir Gachati Bhutayonim. He goes to that Brahman, which is Bhutayonim. Bhutayonim means it is the womb of all Bhuta, of all things. Bhu in Sanskrit means to be, anything that is called as Bhuta. No, Bhuta is not ghost there. Anything that is, Bhuta in Sanskrit is ghost. I mean, in Hindi is ghost. But anything that has existence, and that means everything. Bhuta, that which is. So all things which have manifest has come from an unmanifest state, and whether it is an unmanifest state or manifest state, it doesn't matter. The thing is, the thing exists. It exists in this state or it exists in that state. In both cases, it exists. So it is called as an existing thing, and it qualifies as Bhuta, that which is. So that thing which is manifest gets its existence from the absolute reality, which is the source of all existence, which is existence per se. You see? So the Muni or the Rishi or the meditator, the seeker, the one who, here Muni doesn't mean the it doesn't mean the accomplished Muni. It means the one who is seeking to be a Muni. He goes to that state, then he becomes Muni, like that. Or you take Muni as Manana Shilaman, the one who goes on reflecting on this all the time. He goes to that state of Brahman, which is the source of all things that are there. That is the idea. Samasta Sakshim Tamasa Parasta. That Lord Shiva, which is the beginning portion of the verse, is described here now as Samasta Sakshim, the witness of all things, and Tamasa Parasta, beyond all darkness. So the Lord Shiva is described with form first, and then formless in the latter part of the verse, you see. And this is the technique of moving from form to formless, moving from gross to subtle in the teaching. The method of teaching is like this. So now Uma Sahayam, Here, Uma Mahesh, we hear, na? Shiva Parvati, Uma Mahesh, we hear this all the time. So here it is speaking about a reality which has manifested as two, a dualistic reality, reality which is manifested as two. There is no such thing in Hinduism as a reality which has changed into two. It changed is called as Parinamavad. So when we say God has changed into this universe, it is incorrect. God has not changed into the universe. The reality has not changed into this universe. The reality appears as this universe, as this dualistic universe. So a change and an appearance, they are two different things. You have to get this clear in your mind. Change is like, when milk changes into curd. Parinam. Now, when milk changes into curd, do you have any invention where you can put the curd and reverse and get milk? It does not happen. Recently, somebody was telling, he put in his tea, in the chai, he put too much sugar, and he stirred like that. And the other fellow said, then easy, just reverse the stir, the sugar will come back out. That will not happen. There are some things that go that way, and it cannot go the other way. So you cannot get milk again from curd because there is a change, a total modification of that thing. It is irreversible. It is irreversible. So they call it parinam. But something which appears like a rope appearing as a snake, there is no change in the rope. A new thing seems to be there. A new thing seems to be there, but no new thing is there. It's just the first thing appearing as the second thing. That is all. So no change has taken place. So this is how this universe is described. So the same reality appears as Lord Shiva and Parvati. A dualistic pair. You see? Dualism appears as that, not changed into. And he calls us Parameshwara. Lord Shiva is called as Parameshwara. The Lord Shiva, who is the same Brahman in our heart, is called as Supreme Ishvara, Prabhu, Lord and Master of all things. Trilochanam, all symbolic things. He is the one who is described as three-eyed, with three eyes. Means he has a third eye. The third eye is the eye of intuition, eye of knowledge, like that, eye of enlightenment, all of that. It means to say, when he opens his third eye, you have seen that in Ramayana and everywhere. When he opens that third eye, he burns down everything there, isn't it? You have to get out of the way. He opened his third eye and burned that Kamadev in Ramayana. So the idea is, when we are able to open like that eye of knowledge, we also will burn down all our vasanas and all such things. We will burn down all our karma. Karma gets roasted, We'll burn all our karma when we open that eye of knowledge. So this is his third eye, Neelakantham. There's a wonderful story in Bhagavad Purana where there's a churning of the ocean. Churning of the ocean only means the vichar which we do. When we do vichar, when you go on thinking, what all the poisonous thoughts, they will crop up. When you sit in meditation also, all poisonous thoughts will crop up like that. All undesirable thoughts. Gurudev calls them as vasanas. They will have to be contained. The story is that he kept it in his throat. It did not go down to the heart, nor did it go to the head. He kept it in his throat. Those all the poisonous thoughts should not be allowed to corrupt our heart or corrupt our head. That is the idea. It means to say my mastery of my mind should be such that even if a poisonous thought arises, now see, we live in a dualistic universe, I was just telling. So there will be good thoughts, I mean desirable thoughts, and there will be undesirable thoughts. The mastery of the meditator lies in his ability to not let those undesirable thoughts disturb his meditation. Actually, we do this on a regular basis, you know. You'll see in your own life, for instance. Nowadays, people talk about, you know, when you put on any news channel or news station in your radio or whatever, all you hear is all negative things. And those things, they agitate the mind. All these negative things which we keep hearing from all of these stations and channels and all, they agitate our mind. So then what? After doing it for some time, we're able to, okay, take it, let it be. That is their nature. They will do like that. They will tell all negative things only. And it is there around me, but I don't pay attention. I don't let it come in and disturb me. Well, in the very same way I can shut out things like that externally, I can also see the undesirable thoughts, but not let it disturb me. You know, this is there by nature to come. Prakriti is such. Prakriti has positive and negative. So Prakriti, mind is also part of Prakriti. So positive, negative thoughts will come, but I will not let it disturb me. I will watch. Actually, watching is a very good thing. Learning to watch. So in this way, this poison that came was kept at bay, as it were. It did not go down to the heart, nor go up to the head. Nilakantham, when we read such words, you know, it should be instructive for us, or such nice names. Prashantam, that which is deep, unfathomable peace. So going inside, one reaches that state. The Muni reaches that state. Thyatva Munir, meditating like this, he reaches that state. That state which is Bhuta Yoni, which I described for you previously. He is also described now further. Now that reality is described further in all the manifestations which we worship. We worship all the various manifestations of that reality. So one more thing which the Upanishad is doing, you see. The discovery of Brahman, reality, discovery of the absolute reality and all of that, right, does not negate in any way all the manifestations which are there. The manifestations of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Ityadi, all these manifestations are there. That's why you'll see a great realized soul. See, Puja Gurudev, you all may not have seen, some of you may have seen, but Puja Gurudev will go out for some yajna or something, and then he'll return to the ashram, and then he'll tell our Jairamji, who was driving him, Jairamji, please drive up to Jagadishwara temple. So Jairamji will drive up the back entrance and he'll park there, and Gurudev will come out very slowly from that car and he'll walk in front there and he'll stand in front of Jagadishwara and he'll keep looking. Now Mahatma, who is enlightened and who has seen Brahman everywhere, who has experienced Brahman anywhere, what need he has to go and stand there in front of Jagadishwara in temple and keep staring at Jagadishwara? Actually, enlightenment does not negate anything in the universe. Enlightenment actually accentuates the presence of Brahman in everything in the universe. That is the idea. So we'll see now in the next verse, you'll see the same Brahman is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Agni, Indra, everybody. See that? See now what number? I don't know. Maybe number 8. Yes. Sa Brahma, Sa Shiva, Sendra. Sa Brahma sa Shiva Sendraha.
Sa Brahma sa Shivasi.
You have Sasendraha in that book? It cannot be Sasendra. Something wrong with it. Sendra only. Yes. Sa Brahma sa Shiva Sendraha.
Sa Brahma sa Shivasendraha.
Sokshara Paramaswarat.
Sukshara Paramaswarat.
Sa eva Vishnu sa Pranaha.
Sa eva Vishnu sa Pranaha.
Sakalogni sa Chandramaha.
Sakalogni sa Chandramaha.
It has to be that only, otherwise the Sanskrit will be wrong. So that reality is the same reality which has manifested as Brahma, Brahmaji. I told you about Brahmaji yesterday. Same reality as man. Now see, you extend, as we are talking about these manifestations which are given in the verse, do not exclude yourself also as a manifestation of that reality, because it is that reality which has manifested as everything. The reality is manifested as all cheta, all things which are chetana, all things which are jada also. Same reality. But there are not two realities which has manifested as everything, one reality only. So that reality is Brahma, who is the one who is responsible for bringing things from a state of unmanifest, avyaktat, vyaktaya sarva, means bringing all things into manifestation. That is Brahmaji's work. That is like when you go to the bank, do you see money? When you go to the bank, you don't see money, isn't it? But there's a teller there. The teller's work is to bring that money from unmanifest to manifest. They go into that vault there and they bring out now you see money. You see. So the teller doesn't create money. That is the idea. I'm just using that example to tell. The teller doesn't create money. You don't see money, but the teller brings it from its state of hiding into its state of revelation. Like that. So Brahmaji's work is like that. Sa Shiva, Sa Indraha. He's also Lord Shiva. See, Lord Shiva is responsible for what? He's responsible for sending things from the manifested state into a state of unmanifest. That is the idea. And because of the poor translation, remember, all of us are studying in an English language, right? All of you studied in English language. And that English language is a language of who? The English people. Okay. Western people, right? And they were the ones who went into India and translated whatever is already there in Sanskrit, whatever is already there existing for thousands of years in Sanskrit. They translated it into that English language. And that is the English language which you are studying. So if that translation is poor, it means your study is also poor. Because you did not translate it, but you sat down with Sanskrit text and you translated it, or what? No, we did not translate anything. We are solely depending on what the outsiders came and translated. And the translation is so bad. Lord Shiva is the Lord of death. Brahmaji is the creator. These are all Western words. Lord of death means I told you yesterday. Jiva, Jagat, and Jagadishwara, they are all eternal. They have always been there. So if they have always been there, what how Brahmaji creates? Brahmaji cannot be creator then. Creation is a Western concept. So what we say is bringing it from unmanifest into manifest. Then, if I am eternal, how Lord Shiva is responsible for death? I don't die. So Lord Shiva is just responsible for sending me from this state of manifest here to a state of unmanifest. I mean, there's no such thing as death. It is just actually they translate as he is Lord of destruction, isn't it? He destroys. He's a destroyer. So creator, sustainer, destroyer. For such poor translations of words. He doesn't. Things change from one state to another. You cannot destroy anything. Matter is neither created nor destroyed. Even physics now tell, isn't it? Matter is neither created nor destroyed. So that changing of one state to another, that is his job. That is all. Lord Shiva. So Savarma, Sashiva, Sendraha is also that Indra. Indra represents the epitome of power, actually. So all power which is there in the universe really is his also. Saksharaha, the imperishable, he is. That reality is imperishable. So many meanings for the imperishable also. Paramaswarat. Parama is supreme, and Swarat means it's self-luminous, self-existing, self-dependent, luminous. That is you. Swarat. That reality does not depend on something else. Everything in the universe depends on something else. Paratantra it is called, but he is Swatantra. Reality is free. See, this depends on something else for its existence. You see? Sa eva Vishnu. He is the one who is the sustainer of the whole universe. That is okay. Sa prana. He himself is prana. Prana means also our pranas, which is there in the body. Prana also means energy. He is the energy behind the universe. Sa kalaha is time. Now see, one of the reasons for giving the mantra is to see the all-pervasiveness of the reality. And I have to talk to you about all-pervasiveness in Vedanta, in Sanatana Dharma. All-pervasiveness is a very, very involved concept. So the verse is telling us, Sakala is time, is Agni, Chandramaha is the moon. You can say Surya also, the sun, is everything. So here in the mantra, what is being told? He is those things. Where is there no verb in the universe? Asti. Well, verb is not there. They don't worry. Sanskrit language is wonderful like that. They don't need a verb. The language is so good. Without a verb, the line makes perfect sense. The language is so subtle that you don't need to put a verb. It is understood that he is Brahma, he is Shiva, he is Vishnu, he is Indra, he is Agni, he is Kala, time, he is moon, he is sun, he is everything. So when we talk about Sarva Vyapitva, all pervasiveness, this is what we mean. We mean he is everything. When we say reality is there everywhere, Brahman is there everywhere. Brahman pervades everything. When we say like that, the pervade word is to be translated as he is everything. That is the idea. Otherwise, you know what people's understanding of pervade is? You see this. This is not this. This. So here, there's a pot. Inside there is some space. And pot is here, and between pot and microphone, there's space again. So people's idea of pervasiveness is, here the pot is occupying some space, and here the microphone is occupying some space. So in between, there is some vacant space. In that vacant space, Brahman is there. God is there. Because this space is already occupied by pot, so God cannot be there. God cannot be here because this space is already occupied by microphone. So they feel that God is only there in the remaining available unoccupied space. And that is their meaning of pervasiveness. But that is not the meaning of pervasiveness. When we say Brahman pervades everything. Reality pervades everything. What we mean to say the reality is everything. Because you tell me which part of this thing does not exist. But every part of it exists, isn't it? Wherever I touch or wherever I see, that thing exists. Is space here exist or not? Space in between exists. So this space is made up of existence. This pot is made up of existence. This microphone is made up of existence. Everything is made up of existence. That is the meaning of pervasiveness. Existence pervades everything. Existence is everything. That is the idea. Huh? Now see, how close am I to Brahman now? How close are we to Brahman? But the word closeness also disappears, isn't it? The word also disappears. So this verse is indicating that Brahman is everything. That is the idea. And this is the meaning of Sarvavyapitvam when we talk about. Now see the next verse also. Sa eva sarvam yad bhutam
Saiva sarvam yad bhutam
yaccha bhavyam sanatanam
yaccha bhavyam sanatanam
Nyatva tam mrityumatyeti
Nyatva tam mrityumatyeti
Nanya pantha vimuktaye.
Nanyah panta vimuktaye.
What I just described to you, the Upanishad is saying there is no other way to mukti than understanding this thing only. Sa eva sarvam. This is the first part. He is everything. Sa eva sarvam. That reality is everything. And one big mistake we all make also, or one oversight. Let me not be dramatic and say one big mistake, One great oversight which all of us have is when we say Brahman is everything, Brahman is manifested as everything. Usually from that, we exclude ourselves. This is the oversight. Big oversight. We exclude ourselves. See this, now I'm talking, my expression, my presence here, all things which I'm thinking in my mind, all of it, they're all manifestations or not? All manifestations. And it is also part of everything, with what I'm calling everything. See, I am also part of what I'm calling everything, isn't it? So it is Brahman which has manifested as all things. So sa eva sarvam. He alone, that reality alone is everything. One reality. Same reality which was called just now as Ekam. One reality. Oh, Kaivalya. From which Kaivalya has come. So that reality is all. One important point, let me point out here before we go on. When one thing has manifested as another thing, or one thing appears as another thing. So A manifests as B, or A appears as B. In this word, manifest or appear, when we use those two words, there is no transformation in the fundamental state of A. When rope appears as snake or rope manifests as snake, there is no fundamental change in rope. Don't forget this point. So where Brahman is appearing, the Nama Rupa Prasarana, it is just the manifestation of names and forms on Brahman. Like when you take clay and you superimpose some form on that clay. You take a little bit of clay, right? Like we have this clay pot here, or you make a clay dog, a clay elephant. So you are superimposing a name and form on clay. But clay does not change its fundamental state from clay. It still remains as clay. So all this universe which we are seeing in front of us is only the reality, with name and form. But names and forms cannot bring about any fundamental change in reality. That is the idea. So remember, the reality retains its original state all the time, though it may appear as something, very much like an actor on a stage. I look here. Who is it? Who is that fellow who was Superman? Huh? Jim Reeves. Jim Reeves? Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves. Look here. When Christopher Reeves goes on stage and goes on the screen and he becomes Superman and he's flying all over Niagara Falls and all sorts of things, right? You have seen. When look here, that same fellow, he fell off a horse and he got hurt. He fell from his horse and got hurt. Somebody who could fly over Niagara Falls will fall off a horse and get hurt. So, though he appears here as Superman, that did not bring any fundamental change in that man. When he goes home, he can still fall off his horse. Nobody has to tell him to get off his high horse. He still will fall off his horse. Because here, playing the role as Superman and all did not really bring any change in the man. He's still a mortal. So no matter what form, good or evil, that reality manifests us in this universe, that reality remains all the time same. That is the idea. Doesn't change a bit. It is unchanged. Avyayaha, it is called. So when we are saying that reality is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Indra, Agni, Vayu, Ityadi, all of them, don't think that the reality has changed. Remember this point in between. Sa eva sarvam, he alone is everything. He has become everything, become to be taken in inverted commas. Manifest as everything, appearing as everything. Yat bhutam, yatcha bhavyam, that all things which have gone by, all things which have manifested, and all things which will manifest. He is all, Sanatanam, eternal. See, the things from the language itself, we can actually see the philosophical depth of Sanatana Dharma. He says all things which have manifested, so this is a past tense, and all things which will manifest. Which when he says something will manifest, what we mean to say, that thing is already there. It is not going to be created, it has to be there already. So what? Past, present, and future, they are all already there. Future is already there, it just has to manifest. It is not going something new which will be created. It is already there. It will come into manifestation. And some things will have to give way and go out of manifestation for the new thing to manifest. And this is the cosmic process which is going on. So that reality is which has manifested as all things already, or which will manifest as all things coming. Nyatva mrityumatyeti, knowing this, that Muni, who was there in the previous verse, that Muni goes beyond death. Mrityum, and mrityu means, I told you, that which is changing. One thing is giving way to another. That it goes beyond. Na anya pantha muktaye vimuktaye. There is no other way to mukti than this. What? Knowing that reality is everything. See, if you just take out that from the verse, there is no other way to mukti than knowing that it's the same reality which is everything. So that reality is all things in front of me, and that reality is me also. And what a wonderful thing, that reality can take on the powers of speaking, thinking, expressing, gesturing that reality can take on all powers like that. How it does. What a wonderful thing. And the Bhagavad Gita borrowed this next line from the next verse. See that? If you go to the 6th chapter, I don't remember what number, 30, 34, something. Sarva bhutasthamaatmanam.
Sarva bhutastamatmanam.
Sarva bhutani chatmani.
Sarva bhutani chatmani.
Sampashyan brahma paramam.
Sampashyan brahma paramam.
Yati nanyena hetuna.
Yati nanyena hetuna.
See, sarva bhutastamatmanam. Sarva bhutani chatmani. Actually, two things. One is, one has to come to see this for enlightenment, and on enlightenment one sees this also. There can be seen in both ways. Enlightenment will make one see that all things are in me and I am in all things. And until I have seen that, then enlightenment is not there. These types of verses are given because, and see, it comes in Bhagavad Gita also, I told you, and Bhagavan Shri Krishna just lifted it from here and put it there. These types of lines, they are there to treat a very bad disease which all of us have. Because the rishis know, because the rishis start off as mortals like all of us, isn't it? Because they start off as mortals like all of us, they know the pitfalls and the shortcomings and the defects and all of, they know everything. So they know the disease which the human being has. And what is that disease which all of us have? We have a very, very strong sense of difference, a very strong sense of me and mine and you and yours. Tutsidashi says that there's me and mine and there's you and yours. And you are there and that is yours, and I'm here and this is mine. And we are oceans apart. We are not connected, unrelated, and all such things. That disease is a very strong disease. That is worse than COVID. The COVID, we are still survived, you know. But this disease, this will bring death after death after death. Means birth after birth after birth, I mean, in ordinary sense of the word. You see, because we have a strong sense of unrelatedness, unconnectedness. Actually, the species across the earth is slowly now coming to recognize this disease. I'll tell you. You just go back maybe 20, 30, 40 years, let us say. Nobody saw a connection between cutting down all the rainforest in Brazil and flooding in New York. Nobody saw that connection. You go back 40 years. No, that is Brazil. They have gold in the forest. They will go and cut down the forest, dig up all the things, take out all the gold, and we'll bring it to New York. That will not affect us. It's theirs, you know. In fact, it will help us. This disease of not seeing connection between things is deep-seated. But this universe is one whole composite universe. It is not a fragmented universe. It is a universe which appears fragmented. But it is by no stroke of imagination fragmented. So the appearance of something and the reality of a thing, they are two different things. I am intimately connected to every tree in the Amazon. When we start thinking like this at this ordinary level, we will get closer and closer to understanding that I am there in everything and everything is there in me. But that is good that we are starting at this level. So now youngsters in schools and high schools and colleges everywhere, now they are coming to realize this thing, you're disturbing the whole global climate when you destroy the forest there. And this started 500 years ago. So it took us 500 years to bring our own destruction. It started 500 years ago. Recently, we were having a tour in South America. You know what the guides were telling us? Whatever forest exists in South America today is only 7% of what existed when the Europeans came to South America. How much? 7%. So they came 500 years ago. So this thing started 500 years ago, and not seeing any connection between oneself and the whole earth, not able to see any such connection, they went on cutting and chopping and demolishing everything. And today it's so much is still there, and it's only 7%. So it is an inability to see this, and that's because the disease is there. We have that disease of disconnect. Very, very strong, powerful disease, disconnect, unrelatedness, unconnectedness, like that. So here, what is being told, she is telling, or Brahmaji is telling to Ashvalayana, we have to come to the state where I see all things existing in me and I existing in all things. That is the idea. And this can only happen when I now go into this meditation. I go inside, and when I find myself first, I find that, hey, I'm there in everything. Everything is there in me. When I find myself, I'll find out this thing. Here, from a physical standpoint, this is now being taught to the next generation or to future generation, or generations are slowly coming to recognize that, yes, I'm connected to everything. Everything is part of me, or I'm part of everything. One composite whole, you see? So, Sarvabhutastam Atmanam, Sarvabhutani cha Atmani Sampashyan, having seeing this well, having understood this thing well, Brahma Paramam Yati, that person goes to that supreme state of Brahman. He goes to supreme state of enlightenment. That is the idea. And na anyena etuna. There is no other way. There is no other path. There is no other method. We have to come to find ourselves, and in finding ourselves, we find we are in everything, and everything is in us only. It's a very wonderful idea, very potent, powerful idea, which is coming in our scriptures. Okay, now where is next one? Okay, I think we will leave it for the because now the idea changes. It gives here a method. But I'll tell you a nice story. One centipede was walking like that, and on the way he passed a rat, a mouse, whatever you call it. So he was familiar with that mouse, that was his friend. So when we meet our friend, that time we find an opportunity, a window of opportunity to tell our problems, isn't it? So he told, that centipede told, man, I have pain in my legs. I have leg pain. Now you see, centipede has 100 legs. So the rat told, well, that is your problem. You see, you have too many legs. If you had only had 4 legs like me, your pain would have been 1/25. Now you went and you got 100 legs. Your pain is increased 25 times. Your problem is you should just have 4 legs. So that centipede said, that makes sense, you know. Now you tell me how to get only 4 legs. He said, hey, look, I only diagnose the problem, right? I really cannot solve the problem and all, you know. I'm good at diagnosing, tell exactly what is causing the problem, solving and solution and all of that, and how to get and, you know, how to acquire and what to leave and that I don't know. You'll have to figure out that yourself. So our Upanishad, if it were like that, your problem is ignorance. What is the solution? I don't know. Suppose the Upanishad taught like that, you know, or you should meditate. Okay, how to meditate? No, that I don't know. You may just find out how to meditate. I don't know. Upanishad cannot be like that. It has to tell what the problem is, and it has to, Gurudev says, use this word. It also has to give the technology to reach the goal, or to acquire that goal, isn't it? Or whatever. So otherwise not complete. So from the next verse, we'll see then in 1 hour's time. The technique is given now. And various techniques are there. No, not only one will be there, many will be there. Okay. And different strokes for different folks. The idea is something will work for you, but it will not work for the other person, because you did not come through the same path, and your distribution in your makeup of sattva, rajas and tamas and all your likes and vasanas and this and that, they will not be same. So some things work well for this person and doesn't work so well for the other person. That something else will work for that other person. Each person has to find out what works best for him. But the nice technique is given there. We'll see in our next class. Okay. All right. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om, everyone. I'm sure everyone is